Good Minecraft morning and welcome to a 10-minute tutorial, Redstone Edition with Zeba. Today we're going to be talking about my favorite redstone block, the item frame. The item frame was first introduced into Minecraft in 1.4 back in 2012 and has mainly been used for showcasing items. Like if we've got items in chests or we want to just showcase our favorite tools. More functionality includes the ability to actually use the daylight time, and it will change as the daylight cycle happens. So let's just switch this over to night. And you can see the dial actually changes. So if you're underground and you need a good way of determining if it's daytime or not, then toss a clock on an item frame and you can tell that way. One really cool feature is the use of maps, and we can, we actually have a little custom map, and it's upside down. Let's flip that around the right way. But maps can be used to make really cool map walls and textures that you don't normally get with just your general block. So pretty sweet. You can even put item frames on fences and or glass to make a really neat walk-through wall using custom maps. Item frames are generally used just to showcase what is in a chest, and you can put them on all different sides of the chests. Alright, let's move on to my favorite functionality of the item frame, and that's its redstone capabilities. The item frame by itself actually produces no type of redstone output, but as soon as we place an item inside the item frame, we can actually take a comparator output of where that item is facing. In this case, it's facing in its first neutral spot, and fly, please, thank you. And we can actually take a comparator output and produces 1 dot of signal strength. And so every time we make a turn on that item, it produces 1 more signal strength, all the way up to 8, and then restarts back at 1 again. If we want to go back to 0, we actually have to completely remove that. And so this is really great for lots of different reasons, but most times we're going to want to use it in a little bit different fashion, and that's going to be shown next. Got an item frame and the comparator pulling that signal out. Currently there's nothing in it, so there's no signal being produced. But once we put an item in the item frame, we get a signal output of 1, just 1 tick of dust. It actually looks like it comes up here, but it doesn't quite complete. So it's only one block of dust. And so what we have here is a system that's pulling. Let's get rid of some of these so you can see. We actually have the signal being pulled off of this block and pushed through this one by that repeater down there. That repeater is in turn powering this torch, which makes them power off. So if you ever push a power source into a torch like this, it'll turn that torch off. So what we want to do is put these back on here. Because that torch is now off, this torch can be powered. And so you can see in the next case that this torch is on, which makes this torch turned off. So what we've got going on here is, and we need some more dust, let's just grab some dust there. If we increase that signal strength by 1 more, it goes 1 more in this direction and 1 more up here. Now because it comes up here, this repeater can now pull from that source and push it into this block, turning this torch off. But the signal strength is not long enough to reach up here and do the same for this torch. Instead, it only pulls off that bottom right down there, turning that second torch off, which allows this one to now come on. And so again, if we go back to the first example, you can see that this torch is lit, which means that one is off. So this in turn, every single time you turn the item, it produces a different output, which is very useful. This is a very handy system to use because now we can control different types of outputs off of one redstone signal, essentially. And so I'm going to go ahead and toss some of these on here and give you a really quick, rough idea of how I can build something using this particular setup right here. And so let's go ahead and toss all these on here like that. And let's use some lights. Grab us some glowstone lights, and we don't need the button just yet. We'll toss that out in a second. So now, we'll get off there. We will put these lights right up here. And now we've got all these blocks underneath or above the pistons, and only one of them is pushed forward. So anytime we rotate this, you can see that another one gets pushed forward. So we can use that, and now we can channel in a redstone signal into only one of those. I like to kind of do it this way. This should work just fine. Here. there, and let's put a button right there. Button, get rid of the glass there. There we go. So now, if we click this button, it'll only output a signal to that one block. So if we change it, you can see that it adjusts which one is getting the output, and now we can determine where this signal strength might end up going. So you can find many uses for that. So let's jump into the next tutorial, which is actually what I built in the Adults Play Minecraft SMP. Alright, so what we've got going on over here is this is the same build that you might see in a previous video of mine, where I had a triple mob farm coming into a lot of chests, and this was going to be a lot of non-stackable items, and I wanted to quickly sort through them, send some of them off to get smelted, throw some of them away, and save some tridents. And so what I've got here is just your general item frame sorting system, just like we used over there before. So the natural way that it points is this direction, and so that means that nothing is going to be fired except for one signal strength. And what I've got set up down below is just a hopper chain. So all the items can be tossed into these hoppers, and that hopper chain just comes right down here and goes right over to this chest. And you can see that I've got some redstone lamps just tossed in there. I'll do some more. Here we go. So if we just toss some lamps in, they get sucked up and they get transported way over here. Nice and easy, right? Nice and easy. Nothing complicated with that at all. Let's take some of these out so it just saves us some time. Get out of there. Yeah, there we go. All right, you stay there. So let's say we want to sort tridents or swords or anything else that you might want. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the signal strength, and we're going to move a hopper forward to catch those items. So let's look at that hopper chain first. So again, we got our original hopper chain here going to our whatever output we see fit. In my case, on the Adults Play Minecraft server, I have this going to a dispenser, or a dropper rather, that pops them up into a smelting area. And so for this case, we want to interrupt that chain with another hopper that's going to pull items down and place it into another chest. And this is where our items are going to end up whenever the dial is set to there. So tridents will end up down here. Just toss some tridents in there. So if we toss a trident in there, it should very quickly make its way down here. Very fantastic. Very simple. So what's happening is this sticky piston is pushing that hopper forward, which interrupts this hopper line and makes items go down in here. So what we've done is we have just calculated how far I wanted it to be. I kind of like the setup that I currently have up there. So we've got the item frame there, and this is pulling a signal out of that. I'm using this block just to power it and get the redstone dust power below. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 being powered. This comparator is reading that signal and pushing one more dot of power right into this block that powers our sticky piston. So the problem with this system, if you don't do it a certain way, is that you'll get both of these hoppers pushed forward, and you don't want that because then you get a mess of things going everywhere. Mostly everything will end up over here, but some things might end up in getting sorted in this one. So what we're going to do is swap here, add one more signal strength that's going to come all the way over here, and we're going to use the comparator function that basically locks the comparator from outputting a signal. If this signal strength is less than this signal strength, the comparator will not fire. So in this case, we've got a signal strength of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is that right? I read that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this is also 6, 7. But that's keeping 7, so this should be technically reading it 8, and it's one more. I almost made that in one single clip. So close. All right, so basically what's happening here is we're getting a stronger signal coming from this side, which basically locks this comparator, so it will not fire the signal forward. If this strength is not as strong as this signal strength, the comparator will not output a signal, which allows us to run a little redstone dust up here and touch this so what's it called? Sticky piston there, and fire the next one, but retract the first one. That way we can sort different items over here. And we could do this a handful more times depending on the signal strength that you want to use. And so you might have a setup over here that can pull different signal strengths, and you can use your item frames settings over here, there, or there. This just worked out perfectly for me, and it looks nice and neat, and so that's why I extended the signal strength over by 1 to accommodate where those item frames might be. So this is a really useful method of using the item frame signal strength to determine what hoppers are pushed forward so that I can send stuff to different areas. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. I hope you like that. I feel free to use this in your world. I've seen other people do something similar. I just haven't seen them use it in this complete capacity. But I was very, very excited to use this method in the Adults Play series. And so thank you guys. Go check out that video too. If you like this video, give it a like. If you really like it a like, consider subscribing. Click that bell so that you get notifications whenever I do have new videos out. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. This is Zeba signing off. Have a good day.